Hello and welcome to this video on one of the additional sugars you can use when brewing, lactose. Lactose is the sugar in milk that those with lactose intolerance react to so very poorly. It is also an ingredient in brewing, as yeast has limited ability to ferment lactose. This means it remains in your fermentation afterwards. The benefit of this is your beer tastes sweeter, has a heavier mouthfeel and foams better. Chemically, lactose falls under the broader umbrella of a sugar, well, strictly saccharides. Technically, it is itself two sugars, as it is a disaccharide. Disaccharides are a sugar made up of two subunits, and in this case we have galactose and glucose. Glucose can be fermented, the galactose can't, and together the whole molecule is unable to be fermented by the yeast. Generally speaking, lactose has a sweetness compared to sucrose or table sugar of about 0.2 to 0.4, somewhere between 20 and 40% of the sweetness. This means it's nowhere near as cloying, especially for a more dry beer, but it's also not completely dry, and therefore you can use it to help balance out whatever you're fermenting. The role of lactose in beer didn't just appear out of nowhere. It has a traceable history, and it is one of the more surprisingly easily traced historical products in terms of beer. It first started being used in stout in 1909. This was called a milk stout and was produced by the English brewer Mackesons. They were trying to make beer more justifiably healthy. Their solution was to literally add milk to their stout. Their only caveat to this was that they didn't want to make people fat. After all, giving them something that's already full of malt sugars with milk added is somehow going to avoid fattening them. Despite this, they then chose not to use whole milk. Rather, they opted to add a lightened milk. This still had the sugars, the lactose, but took out much of the fat in the form of cream. What was notable here, once you refined the lightened milk product by removing fat, casein and water, was that you were left with just two types of products, salt and the sugar lactose. It is these last two that were added to beer. This led to milk stout being a product, and for all intents and purposes, quite a popular product at the time. We've mentioned that lactose is a non-fermentable sugar, and that is because brewer's yeast lacks the enzyme, and therefore it can't convert lactose into alcohol. This means it stays in beer as a residual sugar. This is an important note to make, as not only can brewer's yeast lack the necessary enzyme, but so can some humans. This means that for those who are lactose intolerant, they are going to experience exactly the same problems from consuming this as they would from any dairy product. The popularity, in brewing at least, is down to a range of factors, but one of the simplest of which is that you can add sweetness and texture or body to your beer. This is often done with especially dry beers, or to bring the body of a beer up to a level that the brewer wants. It can also conversely be used to complement and bring down the tartness of beers that are either extremely hop heavy, or by nature of the malt used, very tart. This means the benefits of it work both ways. You can either minimize the sweetness, but still have some, or use it because it is relatively lightly sweet to try and counteract it. When you are adding lactose, however, it will add body to the beer. That is going to alter the way it feels in the mouth when being consumed. It's new textures and a slightly sweet flavor. That can help, especially if you're trying to avoid some of the more traditional recipes that rely heavily on particular kinds of malt. These malt flavors can be very bitter. There's also the possibility that you have been inspired by Heston Blumenthal and have started experimenting in weird and unusual ways. Lactose is very flexible in how and when it can be used, which is great. After all, if you're limited in only adding it after you have completed everything else, you lose a lot of control. One of the earliest points you can add it is during the boil, and this is perhaps the most common time to add, as this way you ensure that you get a standardized dose throughout the entire fermentation, and that it is at least somewhat sterilized. It also won't affect the concentration of your final fermented product. If you find that for some reason this isn't quite enough lactose, but you also don't have enough need to be able to justify a huge increase later on, you can add it to the secondary fermentation. This is not as desirable, as you'll need to dissolve the lactose powder in water and add this to the fermentation, or take some of the fermentation out, combine it with your lactose and add it back in, but you'll also be mixing in a certain amount of oxygen during this stage. If you want to avoid that, then you can add it during the kegging stage. This again does require that you dissolve it in water, add this to the individual kegs, and then add your fermentation to these. You will want to gently move the keg around in order to ensure that your lactose is mixed into the beer evenly. Lactose can even be added at the very end when you go to bottle your individual beer bottles. Now, one caveat to this is that unlike sugars which are used to carbonate beer in bottles, lactose is not fermentable, so you cannot use it to substitute for the production of carbon dioxide. You can, however, add it to the same priming solution. This is beneficial as you're basically adding exactly the same amount of liquid, but instead of just having sucrose or priming tablets or glucose in them, you have both your priming sugar and lactose. This does present the same considerations, though you should be cautious of oxidizing the beer when doing this. Lactose is really beneficial, and not only because you can add sweetness, it is useful to counteract some of the more difficult aspects of making beer. For example, if you're adding fruits or berries that have very bitter flavors, you can add a commensurate, softer, almost creamy mouthfeel from lactose to balance it out. You can try and alter the effect of using extremely bitter hops by adding lactose. You can also look at taking a very dry beer and making it slightly sweeter, a little more appealing in that respect without completely removing that dry, very Spartan flavor. This will also not affect the overall alcohol volume, where adding other sugars may do exactly that. For example, increasing the malt content of a beer will lead to greater fermentation of the sugars and therefore production of more alcohol. The addition of a small amount of priming sugar can do that, but it also adds CO2, and CO2 can generate a certain amount of bitterness. Primarily because the way CO2 behaves in a liquid environment is that it can turn into both an acid and a base. This is another use for lactose, counteracting some of that altered flavor from the fermentation and then later bottling process. Overall, it is a relatively benign and innocuous sugar so long as you are not intolerant, and that is the only major caveat to its use. You need to be mindful of possible difficulties when consuming beer with this, and one reason why its increasing popularity in commercial beer making is a worry. The other concern is that it's much harder to remove, where with other beer ingredients you can ferment them out or age them out, you can't do that with lactose. It simply can't be removed easily, and so you need to be careful with how much you add or how you're going to counter it if you need to do so. Thank you for watching this video. If you have found it interesting, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please post any comments, questions, or suggestions you have below.